Sleeves here with the Senior Pickleball Report powered by Active Blend. Let's get it going. Before we get to our interview, I wanted to talk to you about one of my sponsors, Active Blend. Great supplements and vitamins made in the United States, so they're consistent. They're also vegan, which is cool, and no GMOs. And you get some elite athletes using them to keep them on the senior tour. Teresa Tarn and Taylor of the National Pickleball League. Check out my discount code, and I use them daily. Keeps me on the court for good joint health. Active Blend. Today in our People of Pickleball episode, we speak with two players from the OKC Punishers of the National Pickleball League and their historic run to the podium in the 2025 season, despite all the ups and downs. But before we get to that, check out all the links in the description, all the discounts. Check out our newsletter as well and our merch page. And if you want to go on a pickleball cruise, link in the description. Go on a cruise with Rick Barry this spring. All right, folks, let's get to that discussion with those players from OKC.
Laurent and Blake from the OKC Punishers. Heck of a 2025 season. Welcome to the Senior Pickleball Report, fellas.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us today. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I followed your season closely because I was doing a podcast and we would talk twice a week about what was going on. And I saw kind of the beginning of your season, which was tough, the middle of the season, and then the drive at the end. And I knew that you had a lineup that was not to be messed with, and I knew that leadership on that team was pretty solid. But before we get into any of that, we need to find out how both of you sort of found this crazy wiffle ball game that's not only taking over the world, but apparently our lives as well. So, Blake, why don't we start with you? How did pickleball find you, or how did you find pickleball?
Well, it started here at Brookhaven Country Club, which I live right here on the golf course and a minute and a half from the pickleball courts. I was at the gym, and my buddy and I noticed they're doing all this work getting ready for some huge pickleball tournament, which we didn't even know what it was. And we see all this work happening at Brookhaven Country Club. And of course, that's for what, now is called the World's Tournament, right? And we said, well, let's go try this. Of course, we were tennis players. And as my buddy Mike Grossman, he played at SMU a year, then Alabama, and I played at A&M. And so we started just doinking around on the court like everybody with the $22 Amazon paddle, right? Sure. I think I paid $24 or $26 for two paddles and two balls. And of course, we felt it was kind of a hokey sport. And this was about 2.5 years ago. And, started kind of thought it was kind of fun because of how long the points would last. Yeah. Right. And so that was always the fun part about tennis was if you were playing doubles, you would have those nice long points. And that was the best part about tennis were the long points that somebody hit some great shot at the end. And we quickly found out that that's what pickleball was about. You could have these long rallies. You were having much longer rallies than you were having in tennis. And so it was really enjoyable. And so we just started playing more and more. And then we got the bug. And now it's every day.
Yeah. And now you're playing pro ball. That's a pretty quick transition in 2.5 years.
Right.
And a whole lot of talent. I think people miss the talent part. Clearly you had a high level racket background, which does not hurt, obviously. In any sport that you're playing with a paddle or a racket. Ron, how about yourself? When did the silly wiffle ball game find you?
Well, I think it's kind of a boring story, like I've heard many times, right? So my background is in tennis, but I played soccer for 20 years, table tennis, volleyball. So I played a lot of things. Everything with the ball pretty much I touched, except basketball. 3.5 years ago, so I live in San Diego, and 3.5 years ago, I got kind of injured, and I don't really know how, but my shoulder, I got a frozen shoulder, so I couldn't play tennis. I couldn't play volleyball anymore. and I had heard about pickleball, like everyone else, but obviously pickleball at the beginning was okay. It's for old people. I don't want to play. So a friend of mine and I, we decided to go to the rec center in Carmel Valley where I live,
Yeah.
and that's how I found out about pickleball. I think I was the youngest. I was probably 49 at that time, and I was playing with 70, 75-year-old people.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and with the background in tennis, in table tennis, I mean I mean you're pretty good very quickly. So I loved it, and the game was fun. I started playing singles there, doubles, and no kidding, the same day I got injured, really really
That sounds
bad.
right.
I was the youngest person on the court, and I was injured, and I couldn't play pickleball for 3 months
Oh,
Mm.
wow.
after my first time playing pickleball. So that was kind of that I wasn't happy.
Yeah,
So
I don't know if that's a typical story. First time out and you're out for 90 days.
yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, that's it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I had one of my favorite experiences in San Diego with pickleball. My cousin lived in Ocean Beach, and I was looking for a place to play one afternoon, and I just kind of went to the OB Rec Center, which is a gym, really old building, and I rolled in there, and Rod Cassidy and Chris Mills were playing, and I was like, hey. So I got to play with Mills and against Cassidy, and I was like, wow, in some random gym.
I
So
know.
that's what I love about the game.
Right.
You can run into Hall of Famers and stuff like that. So obviously, you guys are playing at a very high level in a short period of time. You both have paddle racket skill backgrounds, obviously with soccer, great footwork, and you find yourself in a position to play in a senior league 50 plus. Let's talk about that first, because I think after a while, and maybe not for you guys, but a lot of people sort of take that for granted. First, that there's a league where you can play professional ball at 50 plus. And I would argue that the senior pros probably have the most options than even the open pros. I mean, there's tours, there's different leagues that you can choose from, and it seems to be more and more coming online all the time. Have you pinched yourselves yet that you're going like, I took up this goofy game and now I'm on a team, I travel, I'm on podcasts, people are sponsoring me. Has that hit you, Blake?
It is the strangest thing. I have said it many, many times. I can't believe after playing tennis at the level that I played at, but didn't really quite meet the level of a pro tennis player.
Right.
But all the hours and the millions and millions and millions of little yellow tennis balls that I hit, that it took me to get to be 53 years old to become a pro at something. It is really
Right.
it's funny. It's a funny story. I love it. And it is such a special sport.
Yeah.
And you know, tennis was awesome when I was in my 20s and playing at the high level. But what I think is so special about this sport are the people.
Yeah.
And, and then again, coming back to our age, everybody's 49 and a half, 50 years, 50
Right.
plus. And um, I think that, obviously brings a different attitude.
Sure.
Everybody's just so nice. They're thoughtful and friendly, and you're making all these new friends, and you're playing at the highest level too.
Right.
So it's something just I think is just so special, and I really just feel blessed and lucky to be a part of it this year because I didn't think there was any chance that I would be drafted in the NPL. And just wow, what a blessing. And the team with Laurent, everybody on the team and our owner with OKC. Not only was it a blessing to get drafted in the NPL, I just feel like it was a blessing to get drafted with OKC. Just love the
Oh, yeah.
people, love the owner. I know I'm speaking for Laurent on this too. Just everybody on the team felt the same way. But yeah, just an incredible experience. And wow, I really hope I get to do it again next year.
Yeah, I mean, you can't pick a better owner. I mean, Carol is just the sweetest, kindest, most giving person. And I think Laurent's picture in the background kind of says it all about
That's
NPL
right.
as a
That
whole.
there it is.
Because if you follow this league on social media, you see obviously the high level competitive play and all that. And if you see it in person, I always tell people you got to go see it in person. It's a one thing to watch pickleball, on your phone or whatever, but to see the level in person and to see what y'all can do and what you do week in and week out and the skill sets that you have, it's incredible and it's mind blowing on some level. And then afterwards, y'all live it up. You party, you have a great time. You're doing all these costume things. You're getting together. Your friends. It's a special community. So talk a little bit about that, Laurent, about the community of NPL and obviously OKC.
Before jumping on this, I think I just wanted to add something from what Blake said. I think I feel like we are a lot of in the community of the senior pro players. There's a lot of people who had the dream when they were kids to make it professional to a sports. For me, I think
Sure.
was soccer. I really wanted to make it professional. Uh, and Blake was tennis. And pickleball is kind of the combination. If you think about it, I think it uses the skills like you said it. Soccer for footwork, table tennis for hand speed, tennis for skills and everything. So it's a fun sport, but it's also combined like all the years that we spend playing other sports, and then suddenly we can still move and we can still enjoy this sport. So that's kind of the fun part for me. And we all super competitive, but at the same time, we all friends at the end. It's not like you're 18 year old and you're playing your whole life. You lose, you're gonna give your best. And so that's also what I think I love, and I'm sure like Blake loves as well. In terms of the community for OKC, I mean, look, the only two people I knew at the beginning were people from San Diego, Steve Dawson and John Hostetler. And I found out about the NPL actually through a friend of mine, John Reedy, who plays for Coachella. So I had no idea what the whole thing was. And so quickly, it's funny, after the first weekend, that was like, I mean, you could feel like it was already a family, right? Everyone was really playing so hard to make sure that the team was performing well. Um, you know, Unfortunately, I think the first few weekends Carol couldn't make it, and but she was there. We had some Zoom, calls together, and you could see that something was being created, right? So the recipe we had a lot of ingredients, and we're still trying to make the best dish out of everyone, and I think a lot of people saw the potential of OKC.
Yeah.
We had a bad start. We were 0-4 in LA the first weekend, but
Right.
every game was so close. I think we could have easily be 3-1 that weekend, but we were 0-4. So, there was no pointing fingers. They were like everyone was so supportive about each other, and I think that's what I liked as well. It's not, we're playing a senior pro pickleball. We want to win. Everyone wants to win. But if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of it's
Right.
not the end. And
Yeah.
so I
And I
think,
think that's a big point that you've made because I think at the senior pro level, a lot, all of you have made your place in the world. You've been successful at other things, other sports. This isn't life or death for you. This is a bonus time, and you're enjoying it, and you're playing hard, and you're using all those skills, like Laurent pointed out, um, of your obviously your past sports, your footwork. You're built for this.
right.
Sort of a sport was handed to you that you got all these skill sets that have been sitting around, and you dust them off, and you're like, holy cow, this kind of works out perfectly. And oh wow, there's a whole community of people that are playing this. And then you throw in the fact that you have a tough start. And doing the podcast with Jeff, I looked at your lineup and I'm like, there is no way this team is not going to just start to grind after week one. I just know most of the players on them, or I'm aware of them. I know Carol and her leadership. I know Mark. in his leadership. And it's a team. It's a long season. And I felt confident that this team would find its way and find its place, mainly because of the personalities that I knew on it. Now, that being said, if you look at every lineup of every team, you're like, how are any of these teams losing? And
Right.
I get it. It's a 1 point victory. You're playing to 11, and there's a lot of those games. So, Blake, talk about sort of you personally and your thoughts during the season of having a tough start as a team, but you also personally coming into your own as a player in this league with your own expectations of should I be here? Do I fit? Am I good enough to play here? Talk about some of those feelings along with the journey of grinding through this season for yourself.
Well, yeah, as a tennis player, I did what most tennis players do. I play tennis out there
Yeah,
on the pickleball court. And that's how I started. And I spent all of April, well, all of March in Fort Lauderdale, which is, I mean, one of the best places you can be, other than San Diego, probably, Laurent,
right,
for pickleball. And that's where I met Mark Milner, and Shea Coker was there. And I can go on and on and on about all the guys and all the 50 plus guys that are there, right?
right,
And
right.
and I was still playing, like I said, like a tennis player. And those guys showed me real quickly that, well, that's great that you have those skills, but just hitting the ball hard is not going to cut it.
Yeah,
So that's been my development, is trying to actually unlearn 45 years of tennis.
in
And
a short period of time.
in a very short period of time. And
Yeah,
thank God Mark Milner, who drafted me, said, Blake, I saw your potential. I see that, and you're athletic, and you're gonna get it, because I've seen, the what you've done in basically 1 month of training there at the fort. And I literally feel the great thing, and I talk about this. I've I've kind of come to realize this here in the last just month or two of, and I'm not trying to put tennis down at all. Tennis paid for my education, right? And has done so much for me. But pickleball, and it's going to sound funny for a lot of people who really aren't that into it, you've got to know so many more shots and be able to execute so many more shots than you do in tennis. In tennis, it was hit a big serve, set up my forehand, hit my forehand as hard as I could, and then see what happens after that.
right,
And
right.
and that's kind of how I started pickleball. Is
Yeah,
kind of, I was hitting serves harder than anybody else was. I couldn't understand why everybody was just kind of doinking it in. And then I was hitting my forehand as hard as I could. Well, I've kind of changed that a little bit to where I can actually hit a third shot drop now. Or yeah, yeah, right. And I think the people I play with are a little happier too, because just
yeah,
hammering the ball all over the court isn't a real fun guy to play with all the time.
right.
So it has been a journey. It's a huge learning curve. I feel like, even though I feel like I'm in the senior pro and doing well in it, I still feel like I've got so much more to learn.
Oh yeah,
And what a great feeling that is, to
yeah,
be in a sport where you feel like not only are you a top level player, but you still have room to grow.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think maybe that's the carrot of this for all of us is like we have entered a space where in most places we're not improving. In fact, we're getting worse because of age, depending on what the heck it is. But we've sort of discovered this chess match with a wiffle ball that is endless. And you mentioned learning all these different shots, and there's still shots being developed. Like every year, there's like a new shot to learn, like the drip. You're like, okay, I just got the third down. I just got this now. Now I got to learn this sort of drive drop that
Right.
everybody seems to be hitting on me. and then I got to learn how to defend it and put it in a space that I'm not going to get attacked. And so it's this endless skill set that's being developed and with power. And then the next shot's got to be really nice touch. And I learned a lot of this weekend. I was at an event in Phoenix, and Rich Thunder Lopez happened to be there. And Rich came on, and I played 2 games with him. And you want to talk about a guy that can rip the ball and then the next second hit this deft drop touch 2 feet into the kitchen. I was like, that's what the level is becoming. This is senior pro, and I'm just constantly blown away when I see it up close, and then to be on a court with it. It's really not only great to be part of, but it's humbling because you're like, man, I got a long way to go.
You know, the paddles are changing all the time. The balls are different depending on the ball
Right?
you play
Yeah, the
with.
equipment's changing.
I mean, you have to adjust so much all the time. You know, you can't,
Yeah,
today, I think you can't really just have like one way to play. You know, you really have to adjust to so many things. The people you play against, the equipment they have, the equipment you have,
yeah,
indoor, outdoor.
right.
But that's what makes it fun as well. And I think that's where you see the best of the best. They can adjust very
Right.
quickly.
Yeah,
Well,
And
yeah,
and to coattail on that, one of the goats, Scott Moore, I was playing
yeah,
with just a couple of weeks ago. We took a trip down. I was with Scott and Dan Traxler and Dan's son.
yeah,
We were in San Diego for the tournament, and Dan says, "Hey, we're going to Nicaragua next Wednesday." This is like 6 days later. We need a fourth, and I'm like, "Okay,
I mean,
all right, we'll
yeah,
go." Well, where I was going with that, we had some great pickleball. Scott Moore is using a shot he's never used before.
yeah.
The guy that's been playing pickleball forever is all of
Right.
a sudden doing a shot I've never seen him never seen him hit or even
Yeah.
attempt.
He's still
And
developing his game.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. All right, let's get back to the season here. And you know what, it's well documented. I did a podcast on it. Obviously, the video that you have about your season is out there, and I will put a link, and hopefully people can watch that as well. And it was up and down, slow start to get momentum, lose a little bit of momentum, but we get the championship weekend, obviously, and the season. This is when it counts. You can do, I always say the team that finishes is the 12th seed could easily come in, get hot, and win this whole thing. Because if you look at every lineup, like I mentioned earlier, everybody has won a lot in their lives. They've won a lot at this level. That's why they're in this league, and they know how to get it done. And so it becomes, kind of a mental fortitude game. So, Laurent, talk to me about championship weekend because I don't know if you saw the episode, but I picked y'all, I think, in the final. And I had a lot of confidence, and I was happy, very happy to see you finish on the podium. So talk to me, get me through that journey a little bit of that weekend.
Well, I think we were super motivated. I mean, the whole team really believed that we could do something great during that weekend. So we went there really trying to win it, not just
Yeah.
to
Oh, yeah.
just to compete and just we were definitely not looking for the third place. We were looking for the win. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's almost like every weekend, we lost by one match. So many games. I think the match we lost against Seattle, the semifinal, I believe there was Toki and Beth. They lost, I believe, 11-10, 11-10.
Yeah. What a
I
weekend it was.
that was crazy, right? So I know my game, like a mixed double with Anna Shirley. We were 9-6 in the third up, and we lost 11-9. So, I mean, I'm sure Blake, I can't remember the score. I think you did pretty well actually in the semifinal, but it was so close. And Seattle, we had not, yeah, Seattle, we played them the months before, and we beat them, I think, 8-4. So we
Yeah.
had a good win
Right.
against them. So we were pretty confident that we could repeat that. But
Yeah.
again, I mean, that's what happens, is that you give your best, and one shot can decide the win or loss, and that's what happened. And that's, I think, what we love as well. I think if you look at it, to be so close on every games, that means something is going well. Whatever they do during the draft, um, like you said, I think any team could have won the weekend. And
Oh,
then
absolutely. Margins
and
are so small. I mean, so small. 1 point, a line shot here, edge of the line there, a tape, hits the tape, deflection, whatever. There's a million things that could change that little action. I mean, you look at the Boca Seattle match, I think
yeah,
like 9 games were like 11-10 or something ridiculous. It's stuff like that. Blake, let's take us home on this. Obviously, your perspective coming in, you didn't even expect to be in this league, and now you're in this position that you're competing for a championship, legitimately competing for a championship, playing against the favorites, and then obviously getting into the bronze medal match and getting on the podium. Talk about those things and take us home here.
Well, yeah, we started off like you said, 0-4,
Yeah,
but we felt like we were a good team. And Laurent, I think I'm right when I say this. I think every week after that, or every match after that, I think we came in the money. We got second or something every
right.
month. We had our NPL tournament. So, and we were changing our lineups around
yeah,
crazy. I mean, and this is one of the things that I think the champions actually had an advantage with. They had their team that was kind of locally structured, and and,
Right.
and they were able to practice together. And I'm not taking anything away from their great players, but I really think that their the capability that gave them to practice more together may have made the difference for them. They were a great team. They were tough. I'm talking about Coachella, uh,
yeah,
Yeah.
and that was tough for us. That was a tough thing for our team, which is we only had a couple of guys. It'd be Laurent and John, if I'm not mistaken, that could really practice together all year.
Right.
And the only times we could practice is the day before an event. Um, and so we were always kind of messing with the lineup, just kind of tweaking, seeing if we could get everything just right. And I think we did at the end. You always kind of second guess some things, but we got in there, even though we started off, not so great in the season to start with. Were getting better and better and better and better. I thought we had a great shot. We loved having the bye the first round. We thought didn't we have a bye first round,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
Ron?
Yeah. That was a
And
big
so
important thing. Yeah.
we didn't have to play until that afternoon, and that was a big difference. Um, I thought we played well. We were just a little bit short. I think the other thing that was a big difference there was the home court advantage there for Seattle.
Hmm.
I think that really gave them a little extra boost. Like you said, in the quarterfinals, how they squeaked through that was amazing.
yeah,
Right.
And I even went back that night. I went and watched the matches online before going to sleep and seeing all those 11, 12, 10
Yeah.
matches that somehow they pulled out. That was amazing. And then they did it again to us.
Yeah.
So I'll give a little bit of credit to the whole home court advantage there. I thought
Yeah.
that might have pulled them through.
Yeah. Well, you spoke to two things I think that are maybe going to be trends too. Well, at least one of them will be, and that's the trend of drafting locally. You look at the two teams that made it in the finals, had a lot of local players. And I think ultimately that's the best for the league as well. Then you have people that are there to practice, but you also can kind of build a fan base because people are local and they'll see these people around, and you can bring
Right.
fans in because the people live in the community and they can promote the game in the
yeah,
community. And if you're going to start to have home and away down the road, I think that's kind of the way that the league will go. And then obviously, yeah, home field advantage can hurt or doesn't hurt. We talked about that all season on the pod I was in. The expectations of playing at home and things like that. But yeah, it's tough. But I think, like you mentioned throughout the interview, both of you, that the margins are so small. But that's what makes it fun. That's what makes chasing this carrot in NPL and being a professional at this level fun. So. I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys. I want to talk to you guys some more down the road, maybe next year at this time, because don't know what team you're going to be on, don't know where you're going to end up.
Hope you enjoyed our
And so
discussion
love to
today.
have you
Remember,
back on.
folks,
It's a fun conversation
check
having the
out the
three of
new
us going
rating
back and
system
forth.
that's out there.
And
Tired
maybe
of
we'll have Carol
not
on too
having
sometime.
the
But
results you
I
think that
appreciate
you
your time, guys.
deserve?
Links
Check
in the
out
description for
VAiR.
all
All
these
right,
guys, their
folks, you know what to do
sponsorships,
at the
their
end of the
teams,
day.
what they're
Hey,
doing now, where
let's
they're playing in
pickle.
2026. And yeah, come check it out because NPL in person is you can't really replace it. So thank you, fellas. Appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed our discussion today. Remember, folks, check out the new rating system that's out there. Tired of not having the results you think that you deserve? Check out VAiR. All right, folks, you know what to do at the end of the day. Hey, let's pickle.